Ladies and gentlemen, sitting in beautiful South Philadelphia, my hometown, home of the cheesesteak, home of your Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles, but more importantly tonight, home to the Saturday Tour, Event 1 of Season 4 All Out Destruction Tour. Let's get ready to race and freestyle. It's All Out Destruction Tour Season 4.
Get ready for it. Get ready for it. Get ready for it. Yeah, this is it. Go! 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 Yeah, this is it. Go! Go! Let's go! Yeah, this is it. Yeah, it's about to break. Got what it's gonna take. Go ahead and on that stage. Let's go. When you're made for this, yeah, it's obvious. Top another list. Let's go. Get ready for it. Get ready for it. Get ready for it. Yeah, this is it. Go! Go! Yeah, this is it. Go! Let's go! Yeah, this is it.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Season 4, Event 1 of the Saturday Tour. This season is going to be a little different than previous seasons of All Out Destruction Tour because we have two different tours taking place, one that takes place on Saturday and one that takes place on Sunday. So 2 times the action, 2 times the competition, and it all comes to a giant head at the very end of the season at the World Finals, where both tours will come together and crown one all-time champion. Tonight, as you know, how we typically do things, we are going to start with racing, and then we are going to move on to freestyle. So don't go anywhere, because we're about to start ourselves off with some All-Out Destruction Tour Season 4 racing. So let's start with our first race. Who better to start with than the champion of Season 3, Sweats, driving Gravedigger this season versus Lucas Lyons and Brutus. If you saw World Finals 3, then you know that Bad Company was the truck that Sweats drove last season, so it'll be interesting to see how he does in Gravedigger this season. Obviously, we're not using the CRD chassis. We've elected to use something a bit older this season as we get started. Our first race kicking off Season 4. Both trucks have a lot of momentum into the first turn. Things looking pretty even. But Sweats turns on the juice into that second turn, and he is going to have an easy win in Gravedigger. Tough draw for Lucas Lyons and Brutus to pull Sweats as his first race. You never want to have to start off these seasons against the champion of the previous season, because obviously Sweats has no problem picking up right where he left off last season, moving easily into the next round. Round number 2, we got Eggs Benedict in the Destroyer versus Cookie Monster in Terminal Velocity. Both drivers looking to make a name for themselves in Season 4 of a All Out Destruction Tour. So let's see if they can start off strong with this race here as we are racing. Eggs Benedict and Destroyer gets a nice commanding lead. He's going to have to play it safe as both drivers get a little wild. Oh my God, Destroyer goes way wide, leaving this wide open for Terminal Velocity and Cookie to take this one easily, as Destroyer doesn't even look like he's about to finish as he finishes in reverse. I guess however you got to get it done, am I right? Just finish that race, because you never know what's going to happen in terms of penalties, 5-second penalties. But it looks like Terminal Velocity with Cookie Monster 2-4-4-2 moving on to the next round. Tough break for the Destroyer and Eggs Benedict as he had that race won, but unfortunately that's what happens in racing sometimes. Now moving on to our next race. Race number 3, we got Floof in Wolf's Head. Floof is a veteran of All Out Destruction Tour, and he'll be taking on Wildside, driven by Mr. Luna. Wildside has been driven by Mr. Luna for a couple seasons, so he feels very comfortable in this truck. But Floof, again, is a veteran, even though he's in a new truck. As we get started, Wolf's Head versus Wildside. Both trucks even into the first turn, as Floof looks like he's got a bit of a lead, as Wildside gets a little wild, living up to his name, but this is going to just be an easy one for Wolf's Head. Unfortunately, Wildside, I don't know if the nerves got to him or what, but he just had all types of trouble, as Floof puts on a clinic showing how it's done in that race. So Wolf's Head will be moving on to the next round. Moving things along now, we're going to have Black Pearl driven by Raisin Racer, and he'll be going up against W in Raminator. Now, Raisin Racer almost won the entire points championship in Season 3, but he came up short in the World Finals, leaving Sweats the opportunity to take the lead, which he did. So he's got a chip on his shoulder heading into this season as he comes out strong. Raminator all over the place, so this is going to be a pretty easy victory for Black Pearl and Raisin Racer, who also is planning on picking up right where he left off last season, picking up the easy W and moving on to round number 2. Unfortunately for Raminator, he just couldn't get anything going. He had nothing for Black Pearl, and you know, when you have a guy who's almost won the championship before, he's going to come in here looking for vengeance, and that's exactly what he got. So this is going to be our first look at Evil Nexus and Son of a Digger. He's one of the founders of AODT, owns the server that these races are run on. He'll be taking on Sweats in Gravedigger, so it's Son of a Digger versus Gravedigger. This should be a good race. Both drivers extremely strong racers as we get started here. Both have great starts to the race. Evil Nexus and Sweats both taking the first turn very well. We are even at the half as they go into the second turn, and there it is again. Sweats just turning on the juice into that second turn, and that is going to be the difference as Nexus has a bit of an issue finishing the race. Again, I don't know what it is about Sweats, but he just is so good at hitting that second turn where everybody else seems to go a little wide. He is staying nice and tight to the cars, and that is what is giving him these wins. And I'm not taking anything away from Evil Nexus because he ran a good, strong race too. And I would probably say he'd win the majority of his races if he was going up against anybody but Sweats. Sometimes it's all about who you get lined up in the bracket against. So Gravedigger will be moving on. Moving on to another truck we've seen for the first time tonight. It's Northern Nightmare driven by Mile Proto, and he'll be going up against Cookie Monster and Terminal Velocity as these two are getting ready to get after it. And it looks like Northern Nightmare takes a big lead on Terminal Velocity. Unless Northern Nightmare messes up, this should be a pretty easy win for him, and it looks like it's going to be a pretty easy win for Northern Nightmare driven by Mile Proto. Really just laying it on Cookie. Cookie never had a chance. He seemed like he was out of whack that whole entire race. So it's going to be an easy passage forward for Northern Nightmare, driven by Mile Proto. All right, and here's a truck we haven't gotten to see yet tonight. Floof driving El Toro Loco, showing off for the kids, and he'll be taking on Floof in Wolf's Head. So we got a Floof versus a Floof in this round. Should be pretty good as El Toro Loco blows that smoke out show, and he's ready to race as we get going. This race is starting off strong. Both competitors get into the turn, staying tight inside. That's what you want to see. And these drivers are neck and neck at the halfway point, both having really strong runs. It could be anybody's race, and it looks like Wolf's Head is going to pull this one out. What a close race. Both drivers really got into it. Both had great runs, but unfortunately we can only have one winner each round, and that's going to go to Floof driving Wolf's Head this round. He's been strong all night long, and that race was no difference. But don't worry, kids, you'll get the chance to see El Toro Loco again back in freestyle. So Wolf's Head will move on to the semifinals. Now taking a look at another truck that we haven't seen yet tonight, and that's Overkill Evo driving Vendetta. He's going to be going up against Raisin Racer 22 and the Black Pearl, who we've seen strong tonight. So let's see if he's got what it takes to put down the second place finisher of Season 3 as this race gets started. Both trucks driving very strong, but Black Pearl just seems to have it down as he has a slight lead in front of Vendetta as Vendetta goes wide as Black Pearl just stays nice and tight to those cars, and Black Pearl's going to take this one. Vendetta coming up a bit short, but it wasn't a bad race by Vendetta. He just could not keep up with the pace that Black Pearl and Raisin Racer 22 was setting for him. So Raisin Racer will be heading on to our semifinals. Now here's a man who needs no introduction, as most of you guys know him, as Sweats has been destroying the competition. He'll be taking on Mile Proto in Northern Nightmare. Let's see if Mile Proto can dethrone the king that has established himself so far last season and so far this season, as he does look pretty strong heading into the first turn. They're dead even, but then again, there's that second turn where time and time again, Sweats has just left people in his dust. That second turn has been the story of the night in regards to racing. Who can stop him? He seems unstoppable. And it's not like Mile Proto hasn't been running good. He's had strong racing all night, but people just seem to not be able to catch that Gravedigger truck. And that's why he'll be moving on to our finals. It looks like things are getting already a bit chippy out there as Black Pearl and Floof and Wolf's Head are having at it before the race even starts. Here we go, semifinals action. Wolf Head versus Black Pearl. Who's got this one? Both drivers been strong as heck tonight. Who's going to take home the victory and head to the finals to take on Gravedigger? Both drivers with extremely strong starts as we are neck and neck heading into the halfway point. So it's anybody's race as we come into the final. Who's it gonna be? And it looks like, oh man, I can't even tell you who won that one. That was a close race. Well, without a doubt, the closest race of the night. Let's go back and take a look and see if we can figure out who won that race. Let's take a look at this replay here as both trucks hug that corner so perfectly and heading across the line. Let's freeze it. And from here, it looks like Floof in Wolf's Head got it. Wow, what a close race to get to the final. Congratulations to Wolf's Head, the first person to knock off Black Pearl tonight. And he will be heading to the finals to face Gravedigger and Sweats. This should be quite the matchup, folks. So here we are, both drivers have overcome some serious competition to get to this point in the finals. So we are about to crown our first winner of Season 4 Saturday Tour, and we're off. Both drivers starting off strong as they head into the first turn. It looks like Floof has a bit of a lead, but Sweats closing the gap. You know, he's so strong on that second turn. And oh no, Floof oversteers, and it's gonna be Sweats and Gravedigger taking the victory in Saturday's Event 1 racing final. Congratulations to Sweat picking up right where he left off in Season 3, and that is just absolutely destroying anybody he races against. So don't go anywhere, folks, because we have freestyle coming up next. But congratulations to Sweats in Gravedigger picking up his first victory in racing this season. But don't forget, folks, this is the first race of this season. Anybody can win. Anything can happen, although I have to admit, Sweats is looking like he's going to have one hell of another season. So who's going to knock him off on Saturday Tour? And don't forget, there's a Sunday Tour that I will actually be participating in as well, driving Bigfoot. There's a whole story behind that, so if you want to know about that, tune in for the Sunday Tour as well. It'll be the same thing you're seeing here, just with different drivers, and they will all meet at the very end for World Finals. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning in for this episode of All Out Destruction Season 4, Episode 1 of Racing. Don't forget to check out Freestyle, and then at the end of Freestyle, you'll know where they stand in the points. So much to come. The action is just getting started. For All Out Destruction Tour, I'm your host, EG Lately. I will see you on the next video. Boy, does this freestyle slap. You don't want to miss it. So subscribe and like for more.